Hey friends, welcome or welcome back. Today's practice is all about working through the hips and inviting in some blood flow through the hips, some circulation. So no props are needed for this one, but if you know you like to practice with blocks, a blanket, or any bolsters, feel free to just pause the video and grab those. We're gonna get right to the practice. So we are gonna get started in more of a seated figure four type position. So feel free to come onto your sit bones, plant your feet in front of you, and then hands can go behind you. Maybe fingertips facing towards your body or fingertips facing away. Just see what works best in your body today. We're gonna cross the right ankle across the left top of that left thigh. And just finding a figure four position here. Now we're gonna start to rock the hips side to side. Notice how your left foot wants to kind of turn out. So you don't need to go rigid with this movement. In fact, I really encourage you to be more fluid with this movement. So feel free to maybe rock a little bit onto that left sit bone, maybe a little bit onto the right sit bone. But do feel free to move around in a way that you can turn your attention inwards and just start to notice what sensations you might be feeling. Notice if maybe it's a little too much tension or sensation through your hips. You might need to walk the left foot a little bit farther away. That creates a little bit less of sensation there in the hips. Of course, if you want more, you can bring your left foot towards your sit bones. So just get a feel for where you want to be this morning. Or if you're practicing at any other time during the day, just check in. I like to kind of have this sort of wide stance here with my legs so that way I can really get into that mobility and just kind of loosen up a little bit. I'll do this a few more times. And then let's just switch sides. So go ahead and plant your right foot, cross the left ankle, or bottom of that left leg across the top of your right thigh. And then again, just starting to make a little bit of movement there in the hips. Noticing what's different on this side compared to the other side. And there's no right or wrong answer. When you're drawing your attention inwards and just noticing, just know that there's no right or wrong answer. It's just becoming aware of your body and the sensations and appreciating the body as well. So just letting my right foot turn out, turn in. Don't be afraid to let this movement look a little bit weird. It might even feel a little bit awkward in your body. That's okay. So keep moving just side to side here, swaying as much as you would like, turning out onto the sit bones even. Make this movement a little bit more wider perhaps. So again, don't let exploration discourage you from potentially what you could feel in your body. Sometimes it can be that fear of, am I doing this right or am I doing this wrong? What could it feel like in my body? But allow this practice to be just that, to just explore through the hips, explore any sensations, especially since we tend to carry a lot of tension around the hips and just storing a lot of that tension around the hips. And we tend to kind of clench up and brace around that area. So go ahead and start to slow down this movement. And then eventually planting both feet on the mat. So both hands are going to stay behind us. We're just going to root down into the palms of the hands and the feet. On an inhale, pick the hips up, come to a reverse tabletop. Try not to drop the head back. Just keep the head neutral. And then your next exhale, slowly sitting the hips back down. Cross your legs and then roll up into a tabletop position. So coming to a tabletop position, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. So take a moment just to get familiar with being on hands and knees. Maybe you sway a little bit side to side in the hips. Perhaps you start to look over your right shoulder and then the left shoulder, add on a little bit of a neck stretch. Again, don't be afraid to move your body in weird ways. Maybe you start to add on a little bit of cat and cow here. It doesn't have to be anything specific at all. Really just working through your body. Get a feel for how you're feeling in this moment. Just be comfortable with yourself, exploring, maybe even sinking back to a child's pose. So sometimes I like to come to a cow pose and then sink back to a child's pose. So feel free to do that a few more times. Or maybe you just stick with a traditional cat and cow. And then let's find some stillness here in our tabletop. Toes can stay tucked or untucked, but we're going to start to extend the left leg back behind us. Hover that left foot, toes pointing down. So option to stay right here, or you can extend the right arm in front of you and come to this bird dog pose. Now again, option to stay right here, or feel free to add on. You can start to circle that right arm, circle the left leg, and test out your balance there. Again, we're just exploring, we're loosening up these hips so we can make this nice and slow. Notice how your breath feels. Again, these circles, it can be big circles or just small circles, any direction. Just notice that cross body connection here. This is going to look really weird, really awkward, and that's okay. All right, take a pause there. Plant right hand to the mat. Step the left foot to the front of the mat on the outside of that left hand. So nice wide lizard lunge. And really just start to lean into your lunge here. So let your pelvis sink. Nice, slow, steady breath. Maybe even left hand to left knee. You can try that option. And just so you can see me okay here, I'm just kind of widening out that left knee. But totally up to you. You want to allow the pelvis to sink down here. Take a few moments for some deep breaths. And perhaps using your exhales to maybe soften a little bit around the hips. And if left hand is to left knee, go ahead and plant that left hand to the mat. Bring your weight a little bit more back into the hips so you can sweep in that left knee. Now coming back to tabletop again, start to come to wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Again, maybe if you sway side to side, maybe a little sort of roll through the pelvis here, making a circle with the pelvis. And then finding stillness, let's extend the right leg back behind us, toes pointed down, just hover that right foot. Option to stay just right here if you would like, or extending left arm in front, bird dog pose. Left toes can be untucked or tuck them under. And then option again to make little circles with that left arm and right leg. Nice and slow. Just kind of get a feel for this at first. And then maybe you make your circles larger, maybe a little bit faster, totally up to you. But keep engaging through the waist, rooting down through that right palm, and then pausing. Let's release left hand to the mat. Step the right foot towards the top of the mat on the outside of that right hand, nice wide lizard lunge. Extend your left leg long. Let your pelvis sink down. So just coming to this lizard lunge here, maybe a little little movement to kind of get any of the stickiness unstuck. So sometimes you might feel a little bit of stickiness in the joints. Feel free to make a little bit of movement there before finding some stillness. You can take your right hand to right knee, perhaps opening up that right knee a little bit more. But do come back to your breath. Come back to some deep belly breaths. And noticing the differences on this side compared to the other side. And just drawing that attention back inwards. And then we'll take right hand to the mat. Start to shift your weight back into the heels a little bit, the hips. And then sweep in that right knee. Come back to your tabletop position. And now from here, we're going to make our way onto our left hip. And then just coming down onto our left forearm here. So we want to have sort of both knees stacked if we can. We're going to invite in some clamshells here. So you can have your right hand maybe to your right hip there, maybe just loose down by your arm. Totally up to you. Just find a comfortable position for that right arm. We're rooting down through that left forearm to keep us in this upright position. So we don't want to collapse down. We want to keep us nice and upright here. And then start to become aware of your knees. Now, knees are together, feet are together. We're going to take an inhale without moving your feet. Inhale, peel the knees apart. So just lift that right knee up. And then exhale to release the right knee down. Now keep the knees together. Inhale, lift your top foot. And exhale, release your top foot. Inhale, lift your right knee. And exhale, release your right knee to left knee. Inhale, reach that top foot up towards the sky as high as you can get it. And exhale to release. We'll do that a few more times. So inhale, bring right knee to sky. And exhale, bring right knee back down. Inhale, reach the top foot up towards the sky. And exhale to release it down. One more time. Inhale, lifting up the right knee. And exhale to release. Inhale, lift the top foot. Exhale to release. Good. Now take a pause there. We're going to come back to tabletop position. Take an inhale to extend the spine and an exhale for a child's pose. Take a few breaths here in your child's pose, and it can be an extended child's pose, arms up towards the top of the mat. Maybe you want them just loose down by your sides. And then sometimes, just depending on our body type, you might need to spread the knees wide to have some space for the abdomen and for the belly to breathe. Nice deep breaths. And feeling the rib cage expand on your inhales. And let your body soften on the exhales. Beautiful. Let's bring hands under shoulders, push up into the hands, and then make our way onto our right hip now. Coming onto our right forearm. So right hip, right forearm, and then just bringing knees together, feet together stacked. We'll do the clamshells on this side. So any variation for that left arm, anywhere that's comfortable. Rooting down through the right forearm, the right palm perhaps. And then just start to notice your breath. On an inhale, start to lift that left knee. Exhale, set the left knee back down. Inhale, lift the top foot. And exhale, lower that top foot. Inhale, lift the left knee. And exhale, lowering that left knee. Inhale, lift the top foot. And exhale to release. So nice and slow. Go ahead and move at your own pace. Inhale, lift the top knee. Exhale to release. Inhale, lift the foot. And exhale to lower. Let's go ahead 2 more times, just like that with your own breath. Really try to lengthen out your inhales and exhales. So try not to rush this. See if you can slow this way down. The slower, the better. Go ahead and finish up with your last round there. And then we're gonna meet back in a neutral tabletop position. So go ahead and meet me back in a neutral tabletop. Take a minute for a few cat and cows if that feels good. So maybe just moving the spine around, flexing and extending the spine. Feel free to even look over the shoulders again, maybe a little sway through the hips, whatever feels good. And then ultimately, let's find some stillness here. Hands and knees, tabletop. Inhale, extend the spine, tuck the toes. Exhale, lift your knees, hips wide, downward facing dog. Now feel free to make your downward dog something that feels really good here. So feel free to bend your knees, planting your hands, rooting down through the palms of your hands, maybe even letting your chin come towards your chest. Let your head hang. Feel free to bend your right knee while keep the left knee straight. Bending left knee, keep right knee straight. Maybe you just sway a little bit in the hips. Totally up to you, but take this moment to explore again. Nice downward dog. Come back to your breath. Take an inhale, rise up on the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Step forward to a forward fold. And then on your exhale, releasing a little bit deeper into your forward fold, perhaps. Inhale, halfway lift. Feel the sides of the waist elongate. Gaze is down towards your mat. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Sweep the arms up. Extend and mountain. Interlace the fingers. Flip the palms up, so palms facing towards the sky. Take another inhale as you kind of shimmy into the ribs. And then your exhale, side bending to the right. Inhale, reaching back up. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, reach back up. And exhale, soften your knees to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Let's plant the hands, step back to a plank or a modified plank with knees down. Take an exhale to come all the way down to your mat. Inhale for a baby cobra, just lifting the head and the chest. And an exhale to release. Inhale to push up into tabletop. Tuck your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Rise up on the toes. Take an inhale, step forward. And an exhale to forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Extend and mountain. Exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips to a chair pose. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach up. Exhale, soften your knees, forward fold. We're gonna step just the right foot back. Lower that right knee, keep the toes tucked. Take an inhale, reach up, low lunge. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, hands to the mat. Bring the right knee up. Step the right foot forward to meet the left. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Extended mountain. Exhale to your chair pose. Sinking those hips. Sending the weight into the heels, maybe a little bit more. Nice deep breath in. Long, slow exhale out. On your next breath in, start to straighten your legs, reach for the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Long sides of the waist stretching. And exhale, soften your knees, forward fold. We're going to plant the hands, step just the left foot back, lower that left knee, keep the toes tucked. Take an inhale, reach up, low lunge. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Lift the back knee, step the left foot forward to meet the right. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, extend in mountain. Exhale to your chair pose, sinking the hips. Now feel free to bring hands to heart center if the arms are feeling a little bit fatigued. So you can bring hands to heart center, press palms into the hands, rooting down into the heels. Kind of cinching in and around the waist. Come back to your breath. And on your next exhale, go ahead and forward fold here. We're going to plant the hands, step back to our plank or modified plank. On an exhale, coming all the way down to our mat. Inhale, curling up to a cobra or keeping a baby cobra, totally up to you. And exhale to release all the way down. Inhale, pushing into the hands, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time we're going to inhale, float the right leg up. Three-legged dog. Now feel free to keep toes pointed down, hips are square, or you can open up that right hip by bending that right knee, opening up the hip. And see if you can keep a nice slow and steady breath. And inhaling, coming back to three-legged dog, release the exhale. Nice breath in. And then as you exhale this time, just release that right foot all the way down. Coming back to your downward dog. Feel free to bend those knees. Rise up on the toes, look forward, step forward to a forward fold, and then take an exhale to maybe forward fold a little bit deeper. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, extended mountain. And exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands, step back to your plank or modified plank. We'll take an exhale to come all the way down to the mat. Inhale, curling up into your back bend, your cobra. Exhale to release. Inhale, pushing into the hands, tabletop. Tuck your toes. Take an exhale for your downward dog. Inhale, float the left leg up. Toes pointed down, three-legged dog. Feel free to bend the left knee, start to open up that left hip. Rooting down through the toes on the right foot. Palms of the hands, keeping it nice and steady. Feeling that openness through the front of the hips. Inhale, come back to that three-legged dog, toes pointed down, square the hips down. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and slowly lower that left foot all the way down. Come back to your downward dog. Maybe you want to pedal out the feet a few times. Maybe swaying the hips. Totally up to you. Let's take an inhale, rise up on the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Step forward to an easy forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Let's step back into a tabletop position here, nice and easy. Tabletop, we'll take a few cat and cows. So on an inhale, lower the belly, lift the chin. And exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. A few times just like that. A few cat and cows. And it doesn't have to be anything specific again. We're just exploring. And then let's find some stillness and start to bring your right knee up in between your hands. Open that right knee out. Extend the left leg long. So we're coming to a pigeon pose. So pigeon pose, we're going to stay up onto our hands at first and just allowing our body to just slowly and softly sinking into a pigeon pose. We don't want to just lay flat into it. We want to allow our body to slowly open up. So, and your pigeon pose today, your right shin does not have to be parallel to the mat. In fact, I don't encourage you to have your right shin parallel to your mat. That can feel just a little bit cranky on the hips and in your joints. So maybe in your pigeon pose, your right shin is tucked underneath your hamstrings and it looks more like this. Totally fine. But we do want to see if we can lengthen out that left leg. Now here's where, if you do like to practice with your props, if you have props here in your practice today, you might want to shove a blanket or a block underneath that right hip just to kind of fill some space between your mat and your body. But do come back to your breath and see if you can just allow this breath to be nice and slow and steady. So nothing forced. If you find that your breath is forced, maybe you've gone too deep into your pigeon pose, so come out of that a little bit. And if this just doesn't feel good in your body, you can always flip onto your back. So you can flip onto your back, cross right ankle over top left thigh, and that could be your pigeon pose. You can pick up that left foot. So that's always an option. So even whenever we go to the opposite side, you can use that option as well. So we'll stay here for a few minutes or a few breaths longer. So feel free to come down onto your forearms now if you would like. So if the body is opening up, to go a little bit deeper perhaps, trust in your instincts and keep drawing that attention inwards to just notice. Notice when you've gone too far or when you are able to open up a little bit deeper. So just taking this time to notice. Coming back to your breath. And then whenever you're ready, we can come back up onto the hands. And then we're just going to kind of shift our way into that right hip so we can swing the legs around in front of us, extend both legs out in front, and then just give the legs a nice little shake or a little sway side to side. Again, nothing specific. You can keep shaking out the legs. And then whenever you're ready, we'll make our way back to that tabletop position. So you can cross your legs, come back to tabletop. And then once we're in tabletop, we're going to draw that left knee forward in between the hands, open out that left knee, extend the right leg long for our pigeon pose on this side. So what I like to do is extending that right leg long, just tucking my toes under, walking my toes back towards my mat. You see how I can extend my leg a little bit longer there. So give that a try. Really extending that right leg long. And then just coming up onto the hands at first. So keeping the chest lifted. Find your pigeon pose on this side, and it might look similar to the other side, or it might look totally different, just depending on how your joints and your tendons are just connected in your body. So we're all built different. So each one of us is going to look different. Come back to your breath. Let the pelvis sink. Use your exhales to soften in and around the waist and the hips. Try to keep that soft belly so you can breathe easily into the belly, breathe deeply into the belly. And then at this side, if it doesn't feel good in pigeon pose on this side, maybe you flip onto your back and try pigeon pose that way. So just know that that is an option there. And try to stay in some stillness. If you find that your body has invited you to perhaps sink a little bit deeper and release a little bit more into your mat, you can come down onto your forearms, keeping your attention drawn inwards so you can just notice if you've gone too far, too deep into your stretch perhaps. Take a few more deep breaths here. And then slowly coming back up onto the hands if you're not already there. Shift your weight into that left sit bone and then just swing your legs towards the front of your mat again. And then just a little, maybe shimmy, shake, anything through those legs. Maybe a couple nice deep breaths as you do this. Sometimes pigeon pose can be quite juicy, so sometimes just taking that moment, just as a moment, just for a few breaths, especially a few deep breaths. Circle the ankles a few times, maybe even cracking the toes. And then let's make our way onto our back. So go ahead and come all the way onto your back. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Maybe a little sway side to side. Feel free to even just sort of roll the knees around using your hands. That can feel interesting on your low back. Again, take a few moments to just explore here. How does this feel on your back? Down into the hips. And then we're going to start to find stillness with knees hugged in. Bring arms out to a T or up into a V shape. And then on your next exhale, we're going to let the knees release down to the left side, all the way down, finding a supine twist. From here, letting the shoulders relax, your upper back relax. Let your belly soften. Take a moment to see if you are holding on to any tension. You can let your eyes close down so you can really focus in on if you might be bracing or gripping. Anywhere that you might be holding on to tension, see if you can let that go. Maybe perhaps just noticing any sensations that you might be feeling in your body. Whether that be the little bit of sort of the breath being constricted in a way in this twist, but as you take some deep inhales, we're giving our internal organs a nice massage. So that can be quite useful here in this twist. And maybe you just might be noticing the sensations in your back and the hips, down the legs. So just notice where your attention wants to be drawn to. Anywhere in the body, maybe even in the mind. Notice your thoughts. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and lift up your right knee, bring your left knee with you, coming all the way onto your back, hug knees into chest. Again, maybe a little sway side to side. And then we'll find some stillness again with knees hugged in. Again, any arm variation, take a deep inhale through the nose. And then an exhale, letting the knees come down to the right side, all the way down to the floor, finding your twist. Maybe even noticing if your back cracks a little bit, sometimes that could be a nice like back release if your back feels like it needs to crack. And then feel free just to let your upper body lean into your support, into your mat. Again, shoulder blades resting. Try not to hold ourselves up or grip, so allow this openness and expansiveness through the chest, the heart space. Notice what might feel different on this side compared to the other side. Making sure you can still breathe easily in this twist. Massaging the internal organs. Closing your eyes to scan your body again. Coming right back to your practice, mentally check in with yourself, your thoughts. We'll stay here for a few more breaths. Now on your next inhale, lifting the left knee, lifting the right knee, coming all the way onto your back, hug knees into chest. And then we'll settle into a Shavasana here, where this is where the practice ends. So you can start to extend your legs long down your mat. Start to settle into a corpse pose by letting your arms come away from your body, legs are wide, resting your head, and just let your body be as heavy as you can be. Now, if you do have your props, maybe you want to have something underneath the knees, or cover yourself up with a blanket, start to get nice and comfortable and cozy. And feel free to stay here in your Shavasana for as long as you would like, reflecting on the practice, reflecting on just how your body and mind feels overall. So allow yourself this time to stay and reflect and to notice. And until next time, namaste.